So I went into this in a little bit in the last video, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail the page information. So I'm back here in my editor, scroll down to manage pages, and that's this information that's found with these little three dots here. So a few things that I want to show you. Let's go ahead and go to this service page. First of all, is your settings. So the first thing that I want to show you, this page information, just the basic page name, your layout here. So standard layout is going to have this header and footer. So if I come through here and I make this no header and footer, you can see that that disappears. But then we can go back through here. So there are a few pages, like for instance, there's a social links page. That is a page I created for my templates that you can add to Instagram. So I don't have a header and footer on those. So there may be some pages that you don't want to do that. So that's how you do that. Permissions, you can make some of your pages private. For instance, I set up a lot of kind of client portals and that type of thing for some of my clients. So they will either create a password for that page or make it so that site page is only for members. But I'm sure most of your pages are going to be for everyone here. The SEO basics, I think I mentioned I have a full SEO course. It's free on my site. So I definitely encourage you to watch that. And this will kind of go over filling out those title tags, that meta description, all of that stuff that Google needs in order to find you and categorize you to the right people looking for you. So I also mentioned in the other video about indexing your site, but there may be certain times that you don't want a certain page index. Like I mentioned about that links page, that social links page. I don't really want people to be able to randomly find that page searching on Google. So you can actually toggle on and off specific pages that you don't want Google to index. So that I would also recommend. I'm going to show you here in a second about hiding and unhiding pages, and I'll talk to you about indexing that in a second. And then finally, we have that social share. So again, I mentioned in another video about creating that general social share image. But if there are certain pages that you share a lot in messages or on social media, you may want to create an image or upload one for that specific page. So that's where you would do that there. So I'm going to show you how to hide and unhide pages, and it's pretty simple. So first of all, I'm going to show you here, if we look at this menu, you can see here that we've got facial services here. So let's go back here and I'm going to go ahead and hide that page. So when you hide a page, it doesn't go away. It's just that it's not going to be shown on that navigation bar. It is a live page. It's just no one's going to know about it unless you tell them about it. So there are certain circumstances where that's very helpful. And one of them may be, for instance, on some of these templates, let's say there's a page that you're not really using right now. Like maybe you don't, maybe you don't have memberships yet. So you want to hide that or shop or your blog. So let's go back to that facial services and we're going to go ahead and hide that. And then you can see immediately when you come up here, that is gone from the navigation. When we come back and unhide it, then it will show up again. And there it is again. So that's just really helpful to know again for those pages that maybe you're not using right away that you don't want to completely delete. You want them to be there when you're ready to use them. So if that is the case, so let's use that, any of the pages as an example. If you're not using it right now, then you probably want to go ahead and make it so that it's not being indexed by Google. And then as soon as you start using that page, then you can go ahead and let search engines index that page. So I'm going to talk about actually sub pages, I think, when I go into your header and footer. So the only other thing I wanted to talk to you about with your pages is a lot of people don't know this. This is kind of a little advanced tip here is that you can actually duplicate pages. Now, this is super helpful with these templates because let's say, for instance, I'm just going to use this one. I do a lot of different templates for different businesses, but let's just use this one as an example. This has two service pages and they're pretty much the same page, just with different information. I did kind of reverse the header on this one, but it's basically the same information. So let's say you do have a spa, or again, it doesn't matter if you're a dog groomer, a travel agent. I mean, it doesn't matter what business, you probably have different services that you offer. but we are going to use this as an example. Let's say that I also do waxing. So instead of creating a whole new page, which is a lot of work, and one of the reasons you bought a template so you don't have to do that, you could just come in here and you can duplicate this page. And we're going to call this waxing services. Now, you do want to make sure when you duplicate pages, I always go in here to make sure on the SEO. Okay, it did. Sometimes it'll say copy of facial services, so I always just make sure that that slug is right there. And now you've got this waxing services, and that is going to also be on your menu here, waxing services. Now, of course, this is going to be the exact same page as your facial services. So you do need to come through here, obviously, and change all of this information, but I'm going to go through that with you in the other videos. So again, I just wanted to show you that kind of that tour of those page settings. And now in the next video, we're going to go ahead and get into editing some of these elements, the images, font, all of those good things.